Greetings, most gracious audience. I am Sir Persevere, Knight of the Hand-Drawn Realm.
And I am Speckles, Salamander of the Hand-Drawn Realm and Sir Persevere's talking animal sidekick.
Today, we are going to explore some potentially good news in the realm of pop culture.
Before we proceed, I have 2 questions.
Ask away, Speckles.
What happened to your voice? It's not as deep as it used to be.
Ah, now that's an easy question to answer. Have you heard of a fellow knight by the name of Sir TalkSalon?
Why no, I can't say I have. Who is Sir TalkSalon?
Sir TalkSalon is a fellow small YouTuber who is a proud member of the fandom Menace. He and I have become pretty good friends on social media. I would recommend anyone watching this video to go check out his channel in the description below, provided you have the mental fortitude to handle his kind of content. Anyway, after he watched our Princess Mononoke review, Sir TalkSalon recommended that I adjust my voice, as my previous voice was somewhat muffled by reason of its excessive bass. I wondered how I was going to accomplish the impossible task of changing my voice, but the opportunity presented itself in the form of a mischievous, evil gnome. He was throwing clothes all over the place and turning Sir TalkSalon's dwelling place into a general pigsty. By the time I came to the aid of this fellow knight, the evil gnome turned his gaze to me. He ran up to me, yanked off my helmet, and jumped down my throat. I think the little rapscallion intended to choke me to death. But fortunately, Sir TalkSalon used a Heimlich maneuver and ejected the creepy little fellow from my trachea. When I recovered my breath and put my helmet back on, my voice sounded like what you hear now. I think my throat reacted to the magical properties of the gnome, and that's how my voice changed.
How come you didn't take me along on your quest to help Sir TalkSalon? I'm usually your companion with those sorts of things. We even do a lot of random singing together when we're fulfilling missions, and all the nearby people just sing along with us.
You were too busy putting the Happy Lizard Diner out of business with your boycott.
Good point, sir.
What is your other question?
What did you mean by potentially good news in pop culture? Have you not seen the state of our entertainment industry? I know that I have seen things that I still don't believe. Our favorite franchises on fire off the shores of corporate greed. I've watched Disney kissing up to the glittering Chinese money near the concentration camps. All these moments are being wept over now, like tears in the rain. What good news can be found in these dark days?
Don't forget to add the fact that Don Bluth Dragon's Lair the movie is now being done in live action on Netflix. Oh, so sad.
Are you kidding? At this point, that's the least of our worries. Netflix is just as soulless as Disney, and we've all seen the news on the internet about the Cuties film. It's just infuriating!
Yes, my friend, but take heart. Like I said, there's some potential good news.
Well, I'm all ears. Please tell me something that will cheer me up.
There are some new developments in the life of Don Bluth. After the legendary animator failed to get Dragon's Lair the movie released as a traditionally animated film, I thought that would be the last time we would really hear from him, aside from the fact that he would be helping to produce the live-action Ryan Reynolds Netflix Dragon's Lair. It was a dark time indeed, and it looked like the only hand-animated film still left to look forward to was Justin Murphy's Dogtown movie. However, it seems as though I may have underestimated the determination of Don Bluth. We may be on the verge of seeing Mr. Bluth ply his beautiful animation passion one last time before he retires for good. As we have mentioned on this channel, in addition to Gary Goldman, Mr. Bluth has a second right-hand man named Laval Lee. Laval Lee is another talented animator who is basically the apprentice of Don Bluth. In fact, when Don Bluth created the Dragon's Lair pitch presentation, it was Laval Lee who was heavily involved in animating the presentation alongside Mr. Bluth and Mr. Goldman. Lately, Mr. Lee has been doing some live streams. I watched a little bit of those streams and learned that Don Bluth is working on some children's books.
Why, that sounds just like Bill Pete.
Indeed, Bill Pete was the first big-name animator that I learned about when I was a kid. After his falling out with Walt Disney, he wrote and illustrated all kinds of children's books, most of which involved animals. I love Bill Pete's art style. In fact, if you watch Sword in the Stone, you will notice that Sir Kay resembles some of the characters that Bill Pete drew in his books. At any rate, it appears as though Mr. Bluth is now following Mr. Pete's example and has started creating his own books.
I'm certainly excited to learn that Mr. Bluth will now create new books for a new generation of kids to enjoy alongside Bill Pete's books. But that doesn't exactly cheer me up in the realm of classic animation. I feel very let down after the news of Dragon's Lair the movie, after all.
There is more to the story. Let's look at this article written by Laval Lee himself on the traditionalanimation.com website. We'll provide the link in the description below. Anyway, Laval announces, quote, that Don Bluth is partnering up with myself, Laval Lee, to create something new for all the fans in the animation world. The project is called Bluth Fables, end quote. He goes on to explain what I discussed a minute ago, how these books are stories that showcase Mr. Bluth's art and storytelling talent. But here comes what is potentially the best news of the entire deal. Quote, many of these Bluth Fables have already been written, and in the future we may put them together in a book that will be available in stores, possibly even turn them into full animated shorts, end quote.
That would be exciting! The last time we saw any Don Bluth animation was the pitch presentation!
There's more. Laval goes on to say, quote, Bluth Fables will be created under the newly formed Don Bluth Studios umbrella as well as in association with traditional animation. I have been given the honor of being vice president of this newly formed company, Don Bluth Studios. For those of you who know me, you know I will do everything in my power to make things happen for Don. I hope that the fans accept me in this new role, and know that with my love of traditional animation, I will fight every day for hand-drawn animation progress and creation, end quote.
Oh, that's exciting! Don Bluth is starting a new studio with Laval. But I'm curious, what does Laval mean when he says in association with traditional animation?
Simply put, traditional animation is the name of the company created by Laval Lee. In fact, Traditional Animation has a Facebook page, as you can see in this snapshot.
So, does Don Bluth Studios have a new logo?
As you can see here in this image, the logo is a happy little rabbit rolling around with a director's clapboard.
He's pretty cute. This rabbit kind of reminds me of Grum, the little dwarf from the Dragon's Lair pitch presentation.
Be careful you don't say dwarf when referring to Grum.
Why?
Oh, it's just a joke. After the Dragon's Lair Indiegogo campaign received its funding, Don Bluth created a separate website to keep backers updated on the status of the pitch presentation. This website, for all intents and purposes, is now gone. Along the way, when Grum was introduced as a character on this site, some troublemaker in the comments section squealed over the fact that Don Bluth called Grum a dwarf. It was a stupid thing to complain about, really. Retrospectively, the whole incident makes me think maybe the troublemaker was an SJW, but I wouldn't know for sure. Anyway, you're right, Speckles. Grum was a dwarf. Yes, I said it. Dwarf. It's perfectly fine to use the word dwarf when describing small fictional characters. Don Bluth should not have been forced to apologize over that. But I'm getting carried away. The main point is, it's been my pleasure to announce the creation of Don Bluth Studios. From the ashes of the disappointment that is Dragon's Lair the live-action movie, new traditional animation may rise again. We might see legendary animator Don Bluth make one last foray into Western traditional animation. I hope to see his characters grace the screens one last time, even if they start out as shorts depicting fables. And in the process, Laval Lee will continue to polish his already superb skills under Don Bluth. And when the time comes that Mr. Bluth can no longer create new animation by reason of his golden years, Mr. Lee will step forth as one of the undisputed icons of modern hand animation, alongside Justin Murphy and James Lopez. Together, they will make classic animation great again.
Speaking of Justin Murphy, do you think we'll ever see a collaboration between Mr. Murphy and Mr. Bluth?
Highly unlikely. Mr. Murphy is hard at work trying to bring Dogtown into the world. However, you never know. But I'm glad you brought up Justin Murphy because this gives me the opportunity to tell the viewers to keep an eye on Indiegogo in October. Mr. Murphy, in addition to being a talented animator, is also a budding member of the Comicsgate community. As such, Justin will be launching his War Party comic project in October. I hope you will go ahead and help back his campaign. Also, I would like to give a shout out to Odin's movie blog. Odin is a kindly gentleman who has much to say regarding his opinions of film, as do many members of the Fandom Menace. Also, if you enjoyed this video and wish to see more like it, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. Now, my friends, go forth, be gracious to everyone, make classic animation great again, and may God bless you.